I installed a nanny cam after my toddler kept saying, "Mommy's friend comes when you are gone." I wasn't prepared for what I saw when my 3-year-old daughter Lily first mentioned Passy's friend Jake during bath time. I thought she was creating an imaginary friend. Quesadilla. I played along, asking what Jake looked like. "He has pictures on his arms and smells like the candy at the gas station," she said, scrubbing her rubber duck. I smiled, thinking she'd combined features of characters from her favorite shows, until she added, "He sleeps in your bed when you go to work." My smile froze. There is no Passy's friend who should be in our apartment, let alone my bed when I am gone. "When does Jake come over?" I asked, keeping my voice casual while my heart raced. "When Miss Tanya watches me," she replied, completely unaware of how my world was tilting. Tanya had been Lily's nanny for 8 months, a godsend I'd found through a neighborhood parenting after my previous childcare fell through that night. I texted Tanya casually, "Lily's been talking about someone named Jake. Is that a friend from the playground?" Her response came quickly, "No idea. Maybe from one of her shows. Have such imaginations." The next morning I dropped Lily at preschool and called in sick to work. I went home and installed a small camera disguised as a phone charger in my bedroom and another in the living room bookshelf. I felt ridiculous, like a paranoid mother overreacting to a child's fantasy. I picked Lily up at noon, telling her teacher she had a doctor's appointment. When Tanya texted asking why I hadn't dropped Lily off for her afternoon care, I apologized and said we'd had a last-minute schedule change. That night I reviewed the footage. Nothing unusual, just my empty apartment for 3 days. Nothing happened. I was beginning to think Lily really had invented Jake, and I felt guilty for doubting Tanya. The notification pinged while I was in a meeting, motion detected in bedroom. I excused myself and found an empty conference room, hand shaking as I opened the app. Tanya entered my bedroom with a man I'd never seen before, tall, heavily tattooed, arms pictures as Lily had called them, and carrying a backpack. They were laughing. He pulled her close and kissed her before both fell onto my bed. I watched horrified as they made themselves comfortable in my most private space. But what happened next was worse. Tanya got up and opened my closet, pulling out clothes and holding them against herself, while the man Jake, I presumed, left. She opened my jewelry box, trying on pieces I'd inherited from my grandmother. They went through my nightstand drawers, commenting and laughing at my personal items. Then Jake pulled something from his backpack, a small bag of white powder. They snorted lines off my bedside table, the same table where I keep Lily's framed photo. I called my neighbor, an off-duty police officer, and asked if he could meet me at my apartment immediately. When we arrived, Tanya and Jake were still there. The look on Tanya's face when she opened the door to find me standing there with a uniformed officer was something I'll never forget. Shock, then calculation, then a desperate attempt at normalcy. "You are home early," she exclaimed. "Lily's napping." I walked past her to find my daughter not napping but playing quietly in her room, door closed. Jake was nowhere to be seen until my neighbor checked my bedroom and found him trying to climb out the window. The aftermath was a blur of police reports and Child Protective Services interviews. They found cocaine residue on my nightstand and evidence that this hadn't been their first visit. Tanya had been bringing Jake to my apartment for at least 2 months based on text messages recovered from her phone. When I asked her why, her answer chilled me. "You have such a nice place and we needed somewhere to hang out. It's not like we hurt your kid. She was always fine. I've moved apartments since then." Lily sees a child therapist who specializes in trauma, though thankfully she seems relatively unaffected to her. Jake was just Parketch's friend who played on his phone while Tanya watched her. I've struggled more than my daughter. I check the nanny cam obsessively in our new place, even though our new sitter is a retired elementary school teacher with impeccable references. I've installed motion sensors on every door and window. Last week, Lily's therapist gently suggested I might need help too. She's right. The betrayal of someone I trusted with my most precious person has left scars deeper than I realized. The hardest part isn't what they did in my home, it's that I might never have known if my 3-year-old hadn't innocently mentioned Paish's friend during bath time.